So today we'll see question number 3 of ISC 2013, and as usual this is a string question. And also note one more thing, that this is a very old question, right? So things will not happen the way it happens these days. So they are first defining what is a palindrome, and they are saying that okay, a palindrome is a word that may be read the same way in either directions, right? Like example, madam, aurora, noon, and so on. And then they are saying accept a sentence in uppercase which is terminated by either this, this, or this. That means the string will be terminated either by a full stop or by a question mark or by an exclamation mark. And one more thing to be noticed over here is that they are not saying that the string is valid or invalid. They are saying that accept a sentence in this notation. Clear? So there is no need to check. And even if you see the test cases, at that point of time, they were not checking and neither they were displaying any error messages or such. And then they are also saying that each word of a sentence is separated by a single white space, even that single blank space that is given. It's not even a white space. Clear? Are the constraints okay?
Yes, sir.
So, and we have to perform two things. We have to display the count of palindromic words in the sentence, that is the frequency of how many palindromes are there, and we have to display the palindromic words in the sentence. So if you see the example, mom and dad are coming at noon, that is the sentence, and then they have displayed all the palindromic words contained in it, and then they are displaying the frequency. Any doubts in the question itself?
No, sir.
And just pay attention to the last case. When there are no palindromic words, they are not giving it in this form that number of palindromic words is 0. They are just displaying a message, number of no palindromic words, and they are just omitting that the other things, right? Okay, so let's begin. And one more thing, in order to find out the palindrome, we will not reverse the string and then compare it with the original, because that is very inefficient. If you see,
Yes, sir.
let's say if the string is of 10 characters and the first character and the last character is not matching, when you are using the reversal logic, then you first reverse the entire 10 characters and then you match it and then you say it is not valid, which is actually quite time taking. So we won't be using that logic. Okay, so let's begin. So I have already have a template. So first thing is we'll display the prompt. We'll say system.out.println, print, and we'll say input. So once we get the input, we'll need a sentence. So we'll say that, okay, string sentence is equal to new, no, not new, in dot next line, right? Sentence is taken. Now we need a class and we'll call our class, what to call it? Palindrome. We'll say
Yes, sir.
palindrome obj palindrome is equal to new palindrome. And once that is done, we'll pass the sentence. We'll say sentence. Now in order for this to run, what we'll do is we'll have a class by the name of palindrome, and then we'll have a string variable for storing the sentence or the source which is being passed. So let's call it sentence only. And then we'll have our constructor to initialize the instance variable sentence. So we'll say public palindrome string sentence, and inside that we'll say that, okay, this dot sentence to refer to the instance variable equal to sentence, which is the local variable. So what will happen in this case is that this dot sentence is referring to the sentence over here, that is the instance variable, and the second sentence is actually the parameter which has been passed. Any doubt till this point of time?
No, sir.
No. Okay. Then obviously we need a function to check for a palindrome, so let us make that first. So we'll say private. We are making it private because we'll be using it only inside the class. So private boolean is palindrome. We'll take the word, whatever the word might be, and then we'll check it whether it is a palindrome or not. So in order to check for a palindrome, what we'll do, we will scan through all the characters till halfway. We'll take out one character at a time. We'll check the first character with the last character, second character with the second last, and so on. So if there is any mismatch, we'll return false. Otherwise, in the end, we'll return true. So let's begin. We have to extract character. So I'll take a character variable. Then we'll run our loop. We'll say that, okay, int position is equal to 0. Position is less than word dot length. And then we'll say position plus plus. Okay, I believe I have already told you that word dot length actually just returns the length of the array which internally stores the character. So please don't think that this will actually calculate the length every time. There's nothing, no such thing, right? Is it okay?
Hello.
Yes, Milan. Please confirm. Is it okay what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Hello.
So now you're audible. Okay. Let's take out the character. So we'll say ch is equal to word dot char at, or should I store it in a variable? Do we need to store? I don't think so. Let's do it directly. What do you say?
So we can do it directly.
There's no point because
yes.
we don't need it again. Okay, let's get rid of this variable and we'll say that, okay, if word dot char at position is not equal, so we are checking the characters from the beginning with the characters at the end. So if this is not equal to word dot char at, and we have to take out the word from the end, so we'll say word dot length -1 minus position. So basically word dot length -1 is a constant, and this loop is moving from the left to right, and then length -1 minus position will move from right to left. And if there is any mismatch, then it cannot be a palindrome. Just to clarify, let's see an example for this. So what I'll do is I'll switch over to drawing mode. I'll get hold of my thing. Okay, now, so what I'm trying to say is that if the string is madam, M A D A M, this is our array. We have forgotten one thing which we discussed in the beginning. Can you notice it? What we forgot? The loop is not supposed to go till the
length. It should be till half.
It should be till half. So basically what will happen is that the variable position is moving in this direction and the length is actually word dot length. So what we are doing over here is we are saying word dot length minus position, so the other thing will move in this direction, the expressions which we have taken, that is let's say if the length is n, so n -1 minus position will move in the other direction. Clear? And then we are comparing this element with this element. If it matches, then well and good, we'll compare the next element. If it doesn't matches, we'll just return false. So that is what we are trying to do, and that is why we are not moving beyond the halfway point. So let's move back to the question. Let's correct the spelling, and we will not go till the end, we'll go till the half. Though you will still get the correct answer, but that's not how it should go. So we'll say int half is equal to word dot length divided by 2, not word dot length divided by 2, and this will be,
so it should be divided by there.
Oh, I forgot that sign. Right, so divided by 2, and it is less than half. Should it be less than or equal to or less than? I believe less than is correct.
Less than, yes.
Right, exactly. And then we are returning false, otherwise this. Okay, now don't worry about this warning, we will use it after some time. Any doubts in the implementation of his palindrome?
No, sir.
So this is as efficient as it can get. We are going till half. We are for comparing the first character with the last character. As soon as we find a mismatch, if we find a mismatch, we'll return false. Otherwise, we'll say return true. So for a string of length n, our loop will run only till n by 2 times. Okay, so this is done. Now what we should do is we should have a function to do the actual processing. So we'll say private void process, and as soon as the initialization is done, we'll trigger this process from the constructor itself. So we'll say process. Okay, now what we have to do in the processing, we have to do two things. First, we have to separate the words, that is one thing, plus we have to also have to count. So let's have the variable for that. So I'll say that, okay, we'll call it answer because it is supposed to store the answer or the palindromes which are present. That is one thing. And then we need to have a count. So I'll say private int, what to call it, count or frequency, what will you prefer?
So frequency.
Okay, but in the question they are using the word number of palindromes. Okay, that is frequency, no problem. So we'll say int frequency. We'll initialize the frequency over here. We'll say that, okay, frequency is equal to 0, and actually this other initialization also should be done within the constructor. That's a more logical way of doing it. So we'll say answer is equal to nothing. So constructor is doing its job. It is constructing the initial values, and then we come to the process part. Now once we come to the process part, now going back to the question, so if you notice, do we need to use split in this case? Like normally we use split and get away with it very easily, but here if you see, they are not asking to do us to do anything extra. We can actually just take a single loop and do everything inside it, isn't it?
Yes, sir, we can
So
do
we'll
that.
use that approach because that will be more efficient. Up till now we were forced to use like different functions specifically because they were asking us to check whether it is valid or not, whether this is that. But now in this case, since they are not asking it, we'll do what they are saying. So let's begin. So what is to be done now?
So we take a string variable and
Okay,
then
let's take first of all we should take a character variable to extract the characters. Okay, so we'll again take a loop for position. We'll say position is equal to 0, and we are actually processing the sentence. So position is less than what?
so
Sentence
length.
dot
So
length,
then
and then we'll say position plus plus, and then we want to extract one character at a time. So ch is equal to sentence dot char at the given position, right? Any doubts till this point? So
no,
we have
sir.
taken out one character, and one by one we'll be taking out all the characters. Now when will a string finish?
Sir, if ch is equals to space, like a blank space.
Are we interested in the word boundaries or we are interested in the finishing of the sentence?
So we are interested in the word
Word
boundaries.
boundaries. Okay.
Yes.
So let's store all the terminators. So we'll say that, okay, string terminate, or let's call it delimiters. That's the correct term, right? Delimiters means on what basis you are breaking it up. So we'll say string delimiters is equal to, what are the delimiters given? Dot, question mark, let me see the question again, dot, question mark, and exclamation mark, plus we'll add a space also because whenever we get a space we start a new word,
So I think
right?
there's a comma also.
Was there a comma? No. Okay, let me check. No, comma is actually separating these double quotes. See, 1, 2,
Okay, yes, sir.
3. Okay, anyway, comma is not there. Okay, so these are the delimiters, and we have to store the palindromes also. So we'll say that, okay, comma, no, not palindrome. We have already taken a variable for that. That is answer, the instance variable here. Okay, so we'll store it over there. So let's begin. So we have taken out one character. So if delimiters dot index of ch, if we are at the word boundary, whether at the end of the sentence or whether in between, then this will return more than or equal to 0, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
So if we are on, what happened? Is there some bracket mismatch? Let me check. Delimiters Delimiters dot index of ch. Okay, I've closed one extra bracket that
Yes.
I'll remove. Okay. So there are two things which are possible. Either we have reached the end of the word or we haven't reached the end of the word. So let us take an example to explain what is happening. So I'll just clear this out. And let's say there is some sentence. The sentence is, this is a test. And let's say there is a dot at the end, right? So we'll first take out T. T is not a word boundary character or not a delimiter. Then we'll take out H, then we'll take out I, then we'll take out S. And as soon as we get one of these delimiters, we know that our word is complete, isn't it? So basically we need one buffer space to form this word, isn't it? So
Yes,
that
sir.
is what we are trying to do now. So what we'll do is we'll call it word. So I'll just move out of this mode and then we'll have one more variable over here. We'll call it word is equal to nothing, and we'll say that if it is not a delimiter, we'll form our word. We'll say that, okay, word is equal to, or rather word plus is equal to ch.
Yes.
Clear? So we'll
Yes,
keep
sir.
on forming the word. If you are in this block, it means that one word is over. And if one word is over, what we are supposed to do now? We are supposed to check whether that given word is a palindrome or not. So what we'll do is we'll say if, what was the name of our function, is palindrome. So if is palindrome, the word which has been formed, if it is a palindrome, what we are supposed to do?
So store it to answer.
Store it in the answer. That is the first thing. So we'll say that, okay, answer plus is equal to word, and we'll also have to add one extra space to it, isn't it?
Yes.
And then we'll have to increment the count also, how many palindromes we have found. And the variable we took for that purpose was frequency. So we'll go down again and we'll say frequency plus plus. So the frequency will be increased by 1. Now what is done? What is to be done?
So we have to empty word.
Exactly. Whether or not it is a palindrome, we have to empty it again so that the next word can be formed and stored over there. So we'll say word is equal to nothing. And the frequency has also been counted. Any doubts?
No, sir.
Okay, now we need one more function to return. Actually, now we need to do the real thing. We have to return the frequency. So we'll say public int get frequency. So the name clearly suggests that we are getting the frequency. We are not calculating it. Get frequency. And in that we'll just say return frequency. That is one thing which we are doing. And the other thing is we have to print it. And as usual, we'll use that neater method of doing things. That is, we'll say string to string. And within that, what we'll do, we'll just say return answer. Answer, what we have to do? You can even
Dot
write
trim.
this also, but an extra space will be printed. Please note that we are adding an extra space at the end. So in order to get rid of that space, we'll just say answer dot trim. Even if you don't say it, it won't be visible, but I believe since we are aware that this is happening, so this is how we'll do it. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's complete our main function. So we have initialized. Now we'll say we have to display the prompt again that we are displaying the output. So we come over here, we'll say output. Once we have said output, now what we are supposed to do? We have to check whether or not the frequency is 0 or not, because the message is dependent on that. So we'll say that if obj palindrome dot get frequency, why it's not auto completing, get frequency is more than 0, then this, else this. And what are those things? We'll say system dot out dot println. What was the exact message? There was no message, we just have to display the answer, right?
Yes.
So we'll say obj palindrome, and this will trigger the toString method. That is first line. And then the next line is supposed to be the count, isn't it? So
Yes.
we'll go down, we'll say this, then we'll just copy that message. Where is the message? Here. Number of palindromic words followed by the number of palindromic words. So we come over here and we have to say /t so that it aligns nicely, plus this. Oops, sorry, we forgot the, in
Yes.
fact, there is no need for another double quotes. And then what do we say over here?
Get frequency obj dot
obj
palindrome.
palindrome dot get frequency. So this takes care of the first case. And the second case is actually just a single line, right?
Yes.
So I'll again do a quick copy paste and we'll say number of palindrome, no, instead of number of palindrome, we'll say no palindromic words, and we'll remove the extra characters and we'll close. Any doubts?
No, sir, there should be a space after no.
Oh yes, of course. So now let us run this. In order to run it, what we'll do, we'll take the first input, we'll move over here, we'll run the program. Okay, Control Shift V, press enter. Mom, dad, no, number of palindromic words 3, which is working. Let's check on the second case. The second case is this. Again, we'll run the program. And again, we paste the input and press enter. Nitin Arora Liril, number of words 3, which is correct. And now we go to our no palindromic words case. Again, we run the program. And now we'll paste the final input and no palindromic words. That extra /t is coming, right? It was not required, it was already at that distance, so we'll just get rid of this /t, no need for it. Let's run it once more for the sake of completeness, and then we'll say Control Shift V, press enter, and no palindromic words. Any doubts?
No, sir.